In this district, Congresswoman Sanchez, Assemblyman Solario, and Assemblyman Lou Correa, Senator, I missed one, are active in this area, and we need to have Janet Nguyen in that district representing the Republican Party. This district was drawn for Lou Correa, but he didn't win the seat. There are more Democrats than there are Republicans in that district. And Janet will probably be targeted by the unions because she voted to restrict the pensions of county workers for the 3 at 50, but that's kind of a technical term, but it means that they won't get as big a pensions. And so they're going to be very active in recruiting a candidate to run against Janet. And we need to make sure that we have Janet running with all of our support. So I urge you tonight to vote to endorse Janet Nguyen for Board of Supervisors.
Is there a speaker against? Presumably Mr. Whitaker is a speaker against.
I'm not up here because I don't have one way or the other towards Janet. I haven't endorsed or not endorsed, but I've got a point of order here. I'm going to read you our bylaws, okay? And I think this is real important. In paragraph 13 of our bylaws, for early endorsement of incumbents, what I'm just trying to explain to our parliamentarian is that, here's what it reads. Republican incumbents seeking election, and they're going to time me on this, which really is a shame because I'm trying to do a point of order here and do it right, because that's what's important to me. So I would ask some Republican incumbents seeking election to the same local office who are members of the Orange County Local Elected Officials Association can request an early endorsement before the opening of the filing period for that office by sending a written request to the Chairman of the Endorsements Committee, Mr. Marsh. Any such request for endorsement received more than 105 days before the opening will be put on an early endorsement list and sent to all members of the Endorsements Committee and the Central Committee. Any Endorsements Committee member or Central Committee member will request within 20 days that a name be removed from the list. All names not removed from this list during the 20-day period shall be deemed endorsed. At the Central Committee's next meeting, the Central Committee member may also consider any name removed from the list and may consider withdrawing its endorsement of any incumbent on the list. Now, here's where I think I have a point of order. Endorsements of Republican incumbents removed from the list are granted upon a 2/3 affirmative vote of the Central Committee members voting. Withdrawal of an endorsement of any incumbent must be approved of 2/3 affirmative vote of the Central Committee's members voting and can only be considered at the next regularly scheduled committee meeting after the endorsement is being granted. Therefore, what we're doing right now, I believe, is out of order with our bylaws that govern this body, and I would like a parliamentary ruling on this and what the body thinks about that, because that's, and I'm respectfully, my friend, respectfully.
No, you are not aware. No, this is not a point of order. You are using up your time very rapidly. Bylaws clearly provide that at the next meeting, which is tonight, everyone's name was pulled for the rest of the meeting, put back up, and my group does vote.
At the risk of another lawsuit by Mr. Whitaker, I am going to uphold the ruling of our parliamentarian because that's what we hired him to do. He has studied those rules, they've evaluated this ahead of time, and that will be my ruling. Mr. Whitaker, by the grace of this body, we'll give you 90 seconds to do an opposition.
90 seconds. You've already burned a couple members. Some of you have been called by both sides on this issue already. And I want you to forget what people have done or said on the phone to you earlier today and deliberate this. You are every bit elected as any other office in this county. The first supervisorial, some of my points of order, which I'm going to have to talk fast because once again I'm being shortchanged here and once again our bylaws are not being followed. You can read them yourself, Article 13. I'm protesting that. We've got a couple things. One, we had a special election. We didn't have a mandate. We had a 3-vote margin. This is in no particular order. Two, I'm distressed at some of the votes I see coming out of Ms. Nguyen's office on our behalf. I am in the 69. That is in the first supervisorial. Three, I'm real distressed momentarily with something that just happened where she wants, as a fiscally conservative Republican, to go to a national search for sheriff. Of course, with no bones, I prefer Bill Hunt, and I love and respect this man over here as well. But we have qualified individuals in our party and in this county that should be appointed to the office of sheriff. We don't need to go to a national search. Four, there's been too many things that have come out of that office since her short tenure in the press that has concerned me. And if you read the letter before you, I think it should be deliberative. I am neither against, I'm not opposed to her candidacy, and I haven't endorsed either way. I'm not up here on behalf of anybody. I'm up here on behalf of myself because I think it's important to follow our bylaws, to consider and not automatically give a blind endorsement ever again to an incumbent like we did last year. I think if there's some issues there, we got to think about it. We got to talk about it. There's an opportunity for a regular endorsement in 2 months. We know we have at least one other candidate running, and from what I understand, there's going to be another Republican candidate running. We didn't have a mandate in the last election. Yes, she won. I respect that. I know Janet. I like Janet. This is not personal. This has to do with us as a body to deliberate this. And I think that if we look at those facts, I don't think right now she has earned the early endorsement. Do we consider her in 2 months with some other individuals that are running as well? Yes, but I don't think she's risen that threshold for an early endorsement. I'm kind of, I had some things what I was going to say and do, but now I can take my talk. Okay, thank you. That's gracious, guys. What is I put? For those of you that haven't seen the letter that are back there, it's just, I'm concerned, again, that we should never ever do a blind endorsement of a Republican incumbent. Look what happened last year with our sheriff who is now resigned. And I am in no way, shape, or form saying that there's any sort of malfeasance like that coming out of the first supervisorial. I am concerned as someone within that district, what I've seen in the press, what has come out on behalf of her. We've got a FPPC fine of $5,000. There has been things there that have concerned me that you don't see out of most Republicans that are elected. It's an exception rather than a rule. And I think because there has been a couple exceptions in this short time within that office, I think at this time we don't early endorse her. Doesn't mean we don't consider her in 2 months and where she can turn around and stand up and you guys can give her all the room if you want for those that want to. And for those of you that don't, again, I haven't decided where I'm going right now. I could meet with you, Janet, I really could. I don't know where I'm going right now, but I just think that we act prudent and move slowly in this matter. Thank you.
Are there any other